So it's just you and me, it looks like. So I will run through this
Yeah.
as quickly as I can.
Mhm.
So the first thing that I've done, the thing that has occupied most of my time this week is ingesting hacking.rst into the developer guide.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know what hacking.rst is, but it is a dashboard developer's guide that has 2,300 lines of dashboard developer lore. And for some reason, which Sebastian and I spent like 4 days chasing down, I'm getting a weird there's been some commit that has happened that prevents the docs from building. So in order to get it cleanly to build, I check out this particular I check out a particular commit which allows me to build cleanly, and then I push and it's fine. And like it's really weird. And Sebastian and I spent like 3 hours earlier tonight figuring it out. I mean, like he's not sitting there all three
Is
hours.
it so is the build just failing for you, or are doc builds failing in general?
uh that they're definitely failing for me from master. Like anything
Hmm.
that's it is branched directly off of master is failing for me unless I pull 4EA 54664, which
Hmm.
if you like, when we meet on my Friday morning or Thursday evening, I'll have a lot more information about it, and we can go through it in greater detail if you like. Like we can
Okay.
still get doc builds done. It's fine. Uh,
Yeah, I'm seeing they're
but
passing on PRs at least.
yeah, yeah, it's like the work
Okay.
continues, so there's no problem. But there's something fishy going on that we'll have to chase
Hmm.
down. And
Okay. Yeah, we can talk
this
about that offline.
Right, yeah. Doesn't have anything to do with like making progress and stuff, but I sort of
Hmm.
enjoy it because it makes my Git understanding better.
Hmm.
Um, so hacking.rst is in. It's a huge addition to the developer guide. So for posterity, this was the week that the dashboard developers guide got ingested into the developer guide. And Linz has sent back just in the last couple of hours. Linz sent me a couple of requests to tweak the PR, and so that should be in. I hope to do that before I go to bed, and which is going to be within the next 2 hours. So that's the first thing. Dashboard Developers Guide is in. So the next thing is uh, Keifu has added some PRs where we're guided to use prompts where appropriate, like the prompt directive in RST. And this is another thing that'll have to be discussed like in another meeting because it's like immediately into the tall weeds. For some reason, I cannot get those to build right. And I see that Sebastian has at least one PR for a little typo that includes this. It's also not building. So like that's developing. I've just seen that in the last day, and we will deal with that more uh, in a less formal meeting. Okay, so that brings me to the getting started guide, the deployment guide, and the getting started guide.
Hmm.
The getting started guide is the step by step by step by step thing that has all of step by step by step by step procedure that has all of the terminal output in it that I wrote between April and June. And I was just ironclad convinced that that thing was necessary and that the deployment guide as it existed at the time did not give you fine-grained enough guidance. But in the interim, I have become sufficiently experienced that I think the deployment guide is actually a lot better and a lot more useful than I initially assessed it as being. Nonetheless, I'm still going to push forward with putting the getting started guide up just for noobs. But the hacking.rst dominated my time this week, so we're still like maybe I'll get lucky and it'll get done this weekend. So that's where we are with that.
Cool.
Um, so
Yeah, maybe
the
maybe you should send an email about this hacking.rs. I'm just looking at it right now, and for folks who are interested in contributing to the dashboard, might be a useful piece of information. Might be worth
Okay.
sending an email about it on the list.
So to dev.ceph, dev at
Yeah,
Ceph.io.
yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
It's
I see that
it's
it's like once it's merged, maybe that's something we can do.
yeah, sure. It's a great piece of work. It's really really very good looking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then there are these three things that are all together that I will always discuss together until we have until we've gotten them incorporated into the documentation. There's the landing page update with what I want. I want the three buttons on there for the tracker, the dev guide, and the install guide.
Mm-hmm.
But the matter is now confused because initially I was thinking like I'll go with this step-by-step install guide. Now I'm thinking just the deployment guide with like maybe a link in the deployment guide to the getting started guide. But that's developing for me as I go from innocence to experience. So I'm not like that thing is still churning in my head. I underwent education in the last 2 months, and it's changed my view of how the site should look.
So you had a PR out, right, which added those three buttons for
Yeah,
different.
right.
What
There
what is
was, and
this? What is the state of that PR? I haven't looked at it recently.
Sebastian was. I should close that PR and like open others that are separate so that we can get different parts of this into it because as it developed, uh, I think it's actually two or three separate little projects that can all be taken in more granularly. But
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian was like, Sebastian didn't like the size of the buttons. He thought they were too big, and um, I don't know if I agree or not, but I've I've thought about it for so long that I've kind of come around to his side on it. Like it, so the buttons need to be made smaller. That's one thing, and that was the main reason for that PR stalling
Mm-hmm.
was that Sebastian thought that it looked ridiculous.
Do you have the
And
link to the PR somewhere?
yeah, give me just a second. Um,
I mean, if the size of the button is the only blocker, I think we can come to a conclusion about it, and
no, it's not because it's not just the one thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's that plus the deployment guide plus the getting started guide all together in one thing. It's too many things in one pull request. It needs to be broken apart into more than one pull request, and that's why it got stalled because
Got it.
like I we're trying to pass too much stuff at once. It's like it was the wrong approach. It seemed like the right approach from a naive perspective, but with more experience, it was wrong. I'll get you the pull request after this, I guess. So I met with Brad Hubbard a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember if you and I have met. I know this is irrelevant for the purposes of the record, but Brad Hubbard and I met a couple of weeks ago and had a long talk about using Get, and I wanted to work out with him a good durable procedure for pulling a remote branch locally and then altering it and then pushing it to one's origin and then sending a message to the person who had the original remote saying, I've taken the change from your branch and formatted it properly. This is for when somebody has a good idea that's badly formatted and like it breaks the build or something, or maybe it's just like becomes stalled because somebody made a suggestion and then it got kicked back and then they decided like this is
Yeah,
too much
yeah, I
work.
get the idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah. And so I have in the minutes for this meeting an example of one of these that worked. Sebastian had pushed a change, and there were some backticks that were pushed up against another word, and it was causing the docs to fail to build. So I did exactly what I just said. I pulled his remote, built it, pushed it back. It works great. That was, in my opinion, I know it's sort of a small thing from like the perspective of a software developer, but I was very gratified to get this done because that means like if we have a docs person like me who knows how to do that, then that means that people can just make badly formed badly formed suggestions are good ideas, and they can still get carried across the goal line. So I was very pleased with that. It's not a big thing, but it's a thing that I think is necessary on big projects where you want to lower the cost of making changes to the documentation. And
Absolutely.
um, then the last thing is I have this in the notes that are from the 10th of September 2020. I'm sort of saying this for posterity.
Mm-hmm.
I have an instructional film mock-up available of, in this case, it's just how to install a little typo pouncer called SL, but I have
Mm-hmm.
Ceph branding at the beginning and end of it. And
Mm-hmm.
when we have our, this makes me think, and now I'm sort of speculating out loud rather than giving a report. This makes me think maybe we really should have the getting started guide step by step and then have a video of it for people who like want to see it installed, like want to see, like they don't know how to do it, or maybe it's sort of a pre-sales thing. And so that actually makes me think, yeah, the getting started guide should go on the page. It should be included in the docs. But anyway, that's for we can brainstorm about that some other time. And that is there's a number of little typos, and I've raised a bunch of little bugs from the report a bug page,
Mm-hmm.
and those continue. There's nothing in particular that's like nothing stands out there. Just like various incremental improvements to the docs. And that's it. It's 15 minutes, 16 minutes, not terrible. Do you have anything?
No, nothing in particular. I think this is good. As I said, the hacking.rst is a great addition,
Hmm.
especially for dashboard contributors or even people who want to learn how to contribute to dashboards. So that is good. We can talk about the video idea that you have a little bit. I mean, I'm of the opinion that videos are useful, but you need to
Hmm.
like really make them to the point. You cannot be like making a video of 30 minutes. Nobody's going to look at it. But yeah, that we can discuss offline. But
Yeah.
I'll take a look at what you have here.
Yeah.
But yeah,
This video is 47 seconds.
yeah,
So
exactly.
like
That's I mean, yeah.
I am right there with you. I worked on the branding at the beginning and the end. The branding
Hmm.
is the word Ceph and a chime that plays CEF.
Hmm.
And that lasts 1.5 seconds. And then there is the video, which is 45 seconds, and there is a 1 second black screen with the word Ceph on it, and that's it.
Okay.
I hold no brief for long introductions or theme songs or anything like that. I am 100% with you.
Hmm.
I when I look at recipes online, I don't want to hear about growing up in Vermont and going out to tap a maple in the winter. I just want to know which things I need to buy.
Exactly. Cool. I think
Uh,
we're good.
okay, great. Thanks for coming to my meeting, Neha. You're my
Yeah.
best attendee.
No problem at all. See you soon.
Oh yeah, I'll see you 2 days from now, or 2 days, whatever, tomorrow.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Good
Thanks.
night. Bye.